Don't worry about your competition. The greatest competitor you have is yourself. Welcome back to another episode of the Tradepreneur Show. I'm your host, Patrick Summers. And today I've got a topic, a quick dive into something called transparency. And transparency is a word I'm hearing more often, especially in the trades. Now, transparency is obviously a good thing in many ways. Obviously, if you're maybe in the intelligence agency, you want to limit some of your transparency for obvious reasons. However, we're not in the intelligence agency. We are in the trades, and we are in business. And whether we own a business or we work for a business, transparency is a really, really important thing on several different levels. And the first aspect that I want to dive into, if you are a business owner especially, is being aware of the importance of transparency in pricing. Right now, Google just did this big change to their algorithm and how a business shows up, how a business ranks. Google is always changing their algorithm, always, one step ahead of the business, so to speak. And at the end of the day, Google and all platforms out there are looking for ways to better help the end user, the consumer that we serve, but is using a tool like Google to learn, educate, and find the resources they need. And it's constantly changing the game for us, right? Constantly changing the game. You think you got to figure it out, you're ranking, and you're getting leads, people are finding you, and then all of a sudden they change it, and what was working, what got you there, is now totally irrelevant. And it just happened about, I guess it was probably 2 weeks ago now. So one of the things that is moving to the forefront in this new Google algorithm, and again, I'm not an expert in the Google algorithm, okay? So I'm not pretending to be, claiming to be. I just know as a business owner, it's something you've got to be good with, or you've got to have a good SEO partner that is good with it. And you've got to stay ahead of it, and you got to move quickly when the algorithm changes. But one of the things that Google is really prioritizing is transparent pricing. Interestingly enough, so is AI. When AI is looking for websites, businesses, information to help their user, they're looking for transparent pricing. So, first of all, what is transparent pricing? Well, it's obvious. It sounds pretty obvious, but in case you're wondering, it's basically just being able to see your pricing, get an estimate online, get to your website and see what you charge for things. Scary, is it not? If you're a business owner and you're listening to this, scary. Why? Why is it scary for the trades? Well, it's scary for the trades. I think it's scary for any service business because it's not apples to apples. A lot of people look at a service company, a contractor, like a commodity. You pull up to a gas station, unless you have an affinity for one of the 4 gas stations on each of the corners, you're going to probably look at the price of gas and go to the one that is the lowest price gas, or maybe the one that has a convenience store, whatever it may be. People look at contractors as a commodity. Which one has the best price? Which one has the lowest price? Which one has the cheapest price? And as a mentor of mine often says, cheap is not always good, and good is not always cheap. And when you can get into a home or into a business, you can showcase your differences to the customer. And they can see why this company is charging more than this company, because they're not apples to apples. They're offering more, and you're able to communicate that. Well, now you have to be able to do that when someone's just shopping price and the price is accessible online. Now, obviously, in HVAC, plumbing, electrical, all of those things, roofing, it's an applied product. So there's a lot of specifics that go in. That's why you just don't want to buy something offline and try and throw it into your house. There's a lot of specifics that go into installing HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and new roofs, those type of things. So the transparent pricing online is going to get the customer into a ballpark. It's going to get them a true understanding. Now, transparent pricing means if you have a system, a 3-ton system, let's use HVAC for this example. You have a 3-ton system, showing on your website for X amount of dollars. When you get out there, unless there's some unforeseen circumstance, like having to get a crane or open the attic access wider, things of that nature, you better have that system available for that price. Now, a good operator is going to then get in the home and be able to say, well, we also have these, and these, right? That may not be online, because the truth is there's a lot of different systems to choose from. There's a lot of different customization that can happen with different products in your home, but you should have the pricing there. And it's going to be hard. You've got to be able to find a way to convey why you should be chosen, why they should do business with you, why, if website A is $2,000 less than your website, why should they consider you? But that's transparent pricing, and it's going to become more and more of a thing. So I know a lot of my fellow contractors are going to try and avoid it and delay it and push it down the road and even say, oh, that works for other people. It's not going to work for us, and it'll never catch on here. But unfortunately, we don't get to dictate that, right? Google is the monster in the room, the gorilla in the room, and it's going to dictate that. And you're either going to get on board with it or not get on board with it. And this is where I'm a firm believer in being an early adapter. Adapt things early, not just for the sake of adapting them, but if you really look at things and you analyze trends and you do your research and you come to the conclusion that something's going to happen, like a greater and greater move to transparent pricing, then be at the forefront of it. Figure it out early. Figure it out before everybody else. And I will tell you, that's something general air conditioning and plumbing is really, really good at. We're really good at figuring stuff out early. And by the time something has to happen, we're ahead of the curve. And there's a lot of instances I can give you where we've had tremendous success with that, but I'm going to save that. I just want everyone to give serious thought to transparent pricing. Now, transparency goes deeper than that. If you're a business owner, you're running a business, you're a tech in the field, you're answering phones, you're booking calls, whatever it is, you need to know your numbers. You need to have transparency into your numbers. You need to be able to know what's going on in your business, if it's your business, or you're a manager or leader in that business. You need to know what's going on if you are a technician and you have targets and goals. Every morning at the General, we have a morning huddle, and everybody in this organization knows what our daily goal is, what we have to hit. We build 3 budgets, a 10% growth, 15%, 20% growth. Going below 10% is non-negotiable. 20% is where we want to go. But we build all 3 targets in. And we are transparent with what our budget number is for the month and what we have to produce each and every single day in sales and revenue, completed revenue, to be successful. So you've got to know your numbers. And that, again, I share that little story with you because everybody in this company that comes out huddle knows what the number is. We're not shy about it. And we talk about it every single day because it's a target, and we have to stay focused on the target. We have to know what the target is. You know, that saying, if you don't know where you're at and you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there, right? Or if you know where you want to go, but you don't know where you're at, you're going to take the long route. So being transparent. Now, here's one of the dilemmas I found. We use a software, a CRM. I won't name the CRM. I think I have in previous episodes, just because, well, let me just say I get frustrated with some of the aspects of it. And, you know, I don't want to talk negatively because I love the software. The software is actually fantastic software. There's so many great things about it. However, the most frustrating part about the software is the software is very difficult to pull data from. There's dashboards, and you can customize your dashboards, and there's reporting, but it is incredibly time-consuming and frustrating to get exactly what you want. And the dashboards, to me, are not user-friendly, and the reports can be frustrating as well. That said, it's a great software, and I highly recommend it if you want a good software for your business. You're going to have to guess which one it is, because I'm not going to say the name. I will tell you, I was at the Nexstar Super Meeting in Denver. I believe that was in October. And in the vendor showcase, the vendor night, I go in there and walking around, meeting some vendors and learning about new products. And, one of the products there, I ran into these two gentlemen, and the product is Plecco, Plecto, Plecco. And Chow demoed the product for me, showed me this product, and I was totally blown away by it. Almost to the point like this, I don't know if this is true. Maybe this is just, maybe they're putting these dashboards they built that they extract the data from our software and display it this well. Maybe this is just their best foot forward, and it must be incredibly difficult to get this and build this. I don't know if this is true. But I watched the demo. I talked to them. I asked some questions. I said, okay, great. Obviously went away. The next day, I was talking about it with my general manager who was there with me. And we're talking about Pletco. And I'm like, man, if this can do what they say it can do and what they're demonstrating to us, and we have the ability to get customized dashboards and pull data out of our software, then this is a no-brainer. We have to move forward with it. So we did. We moved forward with it. And if you were coming to our office, which you're invited to come stop by anytime, if you're in the Coachella Valley area, we have dashboards in our office. We have 4 of them up in our training room where the techs meet every morning, and we meet as a company once a month. And we've got 3 of them, there's 2 of them, and they scroll between 3 different dashboards in our contact center, our operations center. And I got to tell you, these things are amazing. The data I can see, the insights I can see, they're pretty. If I dare say, they're pretty. They look fantastic. And we're having more built because there's so much data that I want to see instantly on a daily basis. And talk about transparency. And yes, am I plugging this company a little bit? I am, not intentionally. I'm just sharing with you. Sometimes when I talk to business owners, and I know in my personal experience, I'm not looking at data like I should be. And a lot of times I'm not looking at certain data because it's so frustrating to access it. And that's a very poor reason not to look at data. I fully admit that. And I look at it, what I'm saying is I probably don't look at it as often as I should because it's time consuming, it's frustrating to figure out where to pull the data, how to pull the data, and then filtering it down to exactly what you want. So in transparency of seeing your numbers, knowing where your business is at, and measuring what matters, I don't care if it's Pletco or some other service or dashboard or reporting device, you've got to have the right tools. And if your method is, hey, I can just go through this, I'm good enough, I built my own dashboards with my software, I know how to pull my reporting in my software exactly how I want, that's fantastic too. That works as well. The whole concept, though, is transparency. Transparency in your pricing to the community, to the public, to your customers. And yes, it's going to be to your competition too, but who cares? You're better than them. Don't worry about your competition. The greatest competitor you have is yourself. I always tell our team, don't focus on the competition. Be aware of them. Know what they're doing, but they're not your greatest competitor. Your greatest competitor is yourself, our own organization. We're competing with ourselves to be better than we were yesterday. And so now that I've done my little tangent, the transparency in the pricing, don't worry about if your competitors can see it. I mean, we got tons of estimates from our competitors, and they probably have tons of estimates from ours. Who cares, right? Don't focus on that. Focus on being transparent to the customer, who is becoming wiser and wiser and will become even more wise as they start to embrace AI and use AI, and it becomes their new search engine, whether it's through Google Gemini, Google Chrome, whatever it is, right? So have your transparent pricing, have your transparency in the processes and procedures and how you do things and why you do them. That's how you beat the competition. But have transparency in your operations with your team and with the information you can see. get the numbers, pull the numbers so you can see the numbers in a way that is not painful, is not time consuming, and makes sense to you. And we have the dashboards everywhere. We're building out more. I'm working with Pletco right now to build out more dashboards for the accounting side, the purchasing and warehousing side, building further dashboards out for the sales side of things. It's absolutely amazing. And it's just pulling all this data from our software, right? It's just pulling it the right way and then putting it into these really neat, nice, pretty dashboards that are easy to read, easy to understand. It's doing it automatically, constantly. There is another feature of this software I will share with you, the Pletco software. It has this gamification built in where your team can actually see where they are in relationship to whatever the goal is, whatever the challenge is. And it just makes it fun. There's also the ability to earn rewards. And I've seen some examples where for a revenue or sales goal, somebody can get a Rolex, right? Or they can get a vacation, or they can get a gift card for clothes, or they can get a gift card for gas. So there's all kinds of things that you can do with this to be transparent with your team, to engage the team, to reward the team, and to have fun. One of the most important things we got to do is we got to have fun, because nobody likes a miserable person except a miserable person. The episode I did a few back was on, talking about the Olympics and the victim mentality, the entitlement mentality. So have fun. At the end of the day, have fun. I tell the team three things we need to make sure we do every single day. Number one, do what's right for the customer and take care of the customer. And sometimes that means telling them things they don't want to hear and making recommendations they don't want to hear. A lot like a doctor and a patient. So take care of the customer. Always do what's right for the customer and in the customer's best interest. That's number one. Number two, have fun. We spend more time with each other here at the office than we do our families sometimes. And if we're here working, we're here making a living, let's want to come to work and let's have fun while we're here. Number three, the most important thing, I tell the team, be safe. Go home to your families. And that doesn't just apply to the guys in the field, the gals in the field. It applies to the people walking out around the office, slips and falls and things like that. Be safe. Go home to your family. Be smart. And so, with that said, I just wanted to make this a quick episode, talk about the transparent pricing. I also wanted to talk, go into make sure everybody knows transparency in your numbers, and the fact that being transparent with them to the right people that need to know, that can move the needle in your organization, but also transparency in your ability to see the numbers and see the data. It's so, so important. So yes, if I unintentionally plugged Pletco, so be it. I just think it's done amazing things for us in being able to have transparency in our numbers. So if you're interested in them, I can put a link or something in this, or just Google them, Google them or ChatGPT them. Good people there. But be transparent. Be transparent with everything you do. We're in a day and age. Another mentor of mine, he used to say, we live in a fishbowl. Patrick, we live in a fishbowl. Everybody can see everything that's being done. You live in a fishbowl. Be aware of that. And so, like transparency, don't like transparency. The reality is there's strength in transparency and being transparent. And again, that doesn't mean tell everybody everything, share all things. That's not what that means. But there's certain things that your team needs to see, you need to see, your customer needs to see. And the more and more we evolve into the world we're in and some of the technology that we have going on for us, the more important being transparent in the right ways at the right time for the right reasons, the more important it's going to be. So with that said, another episode of the Tradepreneur Show. I truly appreciate you for listening, for supporting. Appreciate you liking this, sharing it with somebody that you think might enjoy it. But at the end of the day, I just hope you enjoyed the show and got something out of it for yourself. Until next time, as always, win the day and be great.